Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, I'm covering communication skills in order to help you level up your way with words and become much more articulate. If this is your first time on the channel, welcome aboard. Every Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I'm dropping brand new videos. So be sure to stay updated by hitting that subscribe button right on below. Hit that bell notification and never miss another video again. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. In today's episode, we're entering the world of social skills, and I'm going to be giving you an innovative fix to get rid of people-pleasing. If you've never heard of the phrase people-pleasing, let me take some time to break down what it is and why it's such an issue. People-pleasing is when you assign yourself a significantly lower social value than the person that you're speaking with. And there's three problems that this creates. The first problem is mental clutter to you. You start to overthink a lot of these small things. The second problem is physical clutter. Your body language starts to become jittery. And the third problem is that the person that you are trying to people please isn't fond of your behavior. They find it annoying. Because don't be fooled for a second. If you go on Facebook, if you go on Instagram or different forums, you'll often see that people are saying that they want more power. But don't be fooled. With power comes responsibility. With responsibility comes more thinking. And the average person isn't trying to think more, especially in social interactions. They judge whether or not a social interaction was good or bad based off of how much they had to think. And if they had to think a lot, then it feels like work for them, and they'll associate a negative feeling to this person. The people pleaser is giving them so much power that they're having to think more, and they despise that. So there's three losses that's happening from people pleasing. And in today's episode, I want to share why I learned that people pleasing should be avoided. And I want to drop an innovative fix that a hypnotist inspired me from. So if you're ready and excited for today's video, go on and drop that like for me right on below. Let's get started. In my book, Wordplay, 101 Short Stories, Essays, and Insights to Improve Communication Skills, one of the short stories discusses this one moment when myself and one of my buddies, Justin, were told by our respective managers that we needed to network. If we wanted to get ahead in life, then we had to shake hands with the right people, and that's all they told us. So Justin and I knew that there was going to be a networking event later on that day, and we were going to go. We wanted to make sure that we impressed a lot of these managers, these higher ups, and these VPs that were going to be at this event. By the time that we go, we see a lot of people there eating their cheese cubes and drinking wine. And that's when Justin and I did something that we weren't consciously aware of, but we did anyways. We changed our personality. Normally, both of us, we were always joking around and we were informal. But for this particular event, we became formal. We started going up to all these different people. We started using words that we normally don't use. We were laughing at stuff that they were saying, which weren't even jokes. And we were agreeing nonstop. If it ended there, then everything would have been fine. But that's not how it ended. These people were not fond of our behavior. They were often looking around trying to find someone else that they could speak to. But the problem was that there were a few other kids, mine and Justin's age, that were acting the same way that they normally do, informal. And these managers that we're trying to impress are leaving us to talk to these informal kids. I'm starting to think, wait a minute, man. I'm over here agreeing with you nonstop. I'm trying to assign you more importance. And here you are, leaving the interaction for someone who's laughing at you every now and then, challenging you every now and then. What gives? What gives was that these managers, they were just trying to unwind. They weren't over here trying to be given all this power. They always had this power, especially with the different teams that they managed. So they just wanted to relax, and those informal buddies of mine were giving the managers that permission. That day, I learned that people pleasing was not a good thing by any means. It was very destructive. Now, fast forward a couple of years, I started to meet this one guy who's a hypnotist, roughly 50 years old, a beard, cool guy. Now, I'll be real. At that stage of my life, I was highly ignorant in the field of hypnosis. I used to think that it was pretty much a guy that got this watch, a creepy looking guy, by the way, who was dangling it in front of someone else. And once he hypnotized the other person, he was going to make them act like a chicken, something like that. This is what I learned from most TV shows. But by the time that I was talking to this hypnotist, he showed me that this was a field that he took seriously. He learned from the East, he learned from the West, and he had a body of work showing me how he got people to overcome cigarette addiction, alcoholism, and how he helped remove subconscious blocks in their life. I was interested in what some of the stuff he did. And that's when he started to introduce me to a few different concepts. And one of the concepts I believe he learned from neurolinguistics, where he talked about how to overcome procrastination quickly. And this is a common practice nowadays, but back then it was something where I'm like, what? I can't believe he just told me that. So basically, here's how the practice went. Anytime that you're procrastinating on something that you should be doing, what you want to do is you want to close your eyes and you want to create the image that this activity is causing. And normally the image will be presented itself. So let's say you're a YouTuber and you don't want to do your YouTube video. Close your eyes, and most likely you're seeing a camera at this point. If you're procrastinating, then this camera is going to be far away from you. What you want to do is you want to gently bring this camera closer and closer and closer to you. The closer that you are gently bringing it towards you, the more that you're starting to feel physically different. And by the time it's close, that's when you can open your eyes. And that's when you'll notice that a part of you wants to record the YouTube video. I was stunned. Wow, I never knew about this before, and I could see this working. And trust me, it's worked plenty of times, because look at me right now. I'm recording this YouTube video. Well, that's when I started to learn something. Whenever a person is people-pleasing, what's happening is that they are assigning this person a higher social value. And a remix to what this hypnotist was teaching me was this. And here's the fix, by the way. Have you ever seen one of those dimmers, those light dimmers? When you take it down, the light starts to get darker and darker and darker. And when you bring it up, it starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter. Not an on and off switch, but the dimmer. What I want you to do is the next time that you find yourself people pleasing, mentally you create that light dimmer and you'll notice it's all the way high. You're assigning this person a high social value, and mentally just gently bring it down to a medium. You don't want to turn it off, then you may be a tad bit boring, but just gently guide your mind to bringing it to a medium. And you'll notice the same physical sensations that I was feeling for procrastination is the same physical sensations that you are feeling as you are gently bringing this dimmer down to the middle category. And once it's at the middle category, you'll notice that the mental clutter slowly starts to dissipate, the physical clutter slowly starts to dissipate, and this other person is getting the right vibe around you. Not too much, not too little, but perfectly in the middle. This is one of those tricks that you want to try as you are going through one of those people-pleasing modes. And everyone still goes through it nowadays, because normally when we are entering a new interaction, we're going through the feeling out process. And if you're going through a feeling out process, sort of like I was in with Justin a couple of years back in that networking event, that's the perfect time to practice this dimmer trick. Gently find yourself making yourself aware, and then boom, gradually bring it to the middle, and instantaneously you'll start to notice these changes. Over time, as you're starting to go to different interactions, it starts to stay in the middle more. You'll start to feel more alert as it's too high or it's too low. And that's when social intuition is slowly starting to build. Try it out for yourself. If you enjoyed today's video and this talk, you'll definitely love Wordplay, 101 short stories, essays, and insights to improve communication skills. So many different stories discussing topics on social skills, public speaking, creative writing, along with other soft skills that will help you become much more of a clear thinker, much more articulate in expressing your ideas. Grab the book in the description box, the pinned comment, or go on Amazon.com, go type in Wordplay Armani Talks. It'll be the first book that pops up. Thank you very much for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I will catch you on the next episode.